Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. We love to take your sources and really, dive deep into them.
Yeah,
So today, we're going to be looking at cryptocurrency and attracting wealth. Two topics that might seem kind of different at first glance,
for sure.
but stick with us. I have a feeling we're going to find some really interesting connections. You sent us, let's see, a conversation that you had with the Gemini AI
Right.
about transferring USDT,
Hmm.
and then a separate response from Gemini on attracting wealth. So let's see what we can find out.
Yeah, always interesting to see how people are approaching these two areas, especially now with, crypto being kind of a new landscape.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So let's jump right into that first source, the conversation with Gemini.
Oh.
You specifically ask about moving USDT from an OKX wallet to a Binance wallet using your recovery phrase,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is a pretty common question for anyone working with crypto.
Yeah, absolutely. It really highlights some of the, I guess, the details and the things that are really important to keep in mind with how these crypto transactions actually work, especially when you're dealing with stablecoins like USDT.
So maybe we should back up for a sec.
Sure.
What exactly is USDT?
Right. So USDT is it stands for Tether, and it's a type of cryptocurrency called a stable coin. And what makes it stable is that its value is pegged to the US dollar.
Okay.
So one USDT is always intended to be worth one US dollar. So that's why a lot of people like to use it for transfers, because it's less likely that you're going to, the price is going to fluctuate wildly during the transfer.
So it's like a more reliable
Yeah.
way to move money around
Yeah, exactly.
without it, changing value in the middle of the.
Right, exactly. You're not going to have those crazy price swings that you might see with some of the more volatile cryptos.
That makes a lot of sense. So, okay, we've got the stablecoin, the USDT,
Hmm.
but why are we moving it between these different wallets in the first place?
That's a great question. So, different cryptocurrency exchanges like OKX and Binance, they offer, different features. They have different fees, different security levels, and even sometimes they support different types of cryptocurrencies.
Oh, okay.
So it really depends on what you're looking for as a trader.
Gotcha. So it's like
Yeah,
picking the right tool for the job.
exactly. It's all about finding the right platform and the right, I guess, tools that are going to help you be successful with your trading.
It's about, strategically placing your assets,
Yeah.
just like you would in traditional finance.
For sure. Right.
Now, you mentioned the recovery phrase,
Uh-huh.
and I know Gemini talks about using that for the transfer.
Right.
What exactly is that, and why is it so important?
Okay, so the recovery phrase, that's basically your master key to your crypto kingdom. It's a series of words, and it's what gives you access to your wallet and all the crypto that's in there. So think of it like a super secret code that only you know, and you actually provided the recovery phrase to Gemini in this conversation. It was, let me see, alarm fetch, churn bridge, exercise tape, speak, race clerk, couch crater letter.
Ooh.
So
Right.
that sequence of words, that's what's used to authorize this transfer.
That string of words suddenly feels a lot more important.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is, if you lose this phrase, you've lost access to your crypto. There's no password resets in the decentralized world.
Oh, wow.
So this is why security is so important, especially with all the scammers out there.
It really is high stakes.
It is. Yeah, you got to be careful.
So, okay, let's say I've got my recovery phrase memorized.
Right.
What are the actual steps to transfer this USDT?
Okay, so Gemini gave you some pretty detailed instructions, and I think one of the most important things, and they emphasize this, is making sure that the wallets on both exchanges, so your OKX wallet and your Binance wallet, are using the same blockchain network.
Oh, okay, so it's not just about sending the USDT, it's about sending it on the right
On the right network, exactly.
pathway.
Yeah. Think of it like different highways, right?
Okay.
If you're trying to send your USDT from OKX to Binance, got to make sure it's traveling on the right highway.
Gotcha.
Sending it on the wrong network is like driving into a dead end, Your funds could get lost. And nobody wants that.
Okay, that's a really helpful way to visualize it.
Yeah,
So it's not just about clicking send. There's more to it.
absolutely. There are a few more steps in there, making sure everything is set up correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's one of the most important things to keep in mind.
Now, was there anything else that really stuck out to you as something our listeners should be aware of when they're doing this?
Yeah, so Gemini gives this piece of advice that I think is super practical, and it applies to pretty much anyone doing any kind of crypto transaction. They say test with a small amount first. Yeah. So before you go and transfer your whole stash of USDT, just send, a tiny amount. Make sure that everything works the way it's supposed to and that the funds actually arrive in your Binance wallet.
Yeah, that's a great reminder. It's always better to be safe than sorry, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with your hard-earned assets.
And it seems like you already have a really good understanding of risk management, which is a key principle in attracting wealth.
Right.
This careful approach to transferring your USDT really demonstrates that.
For sure. And speaking of attracting wealth, that brings us to your second source, Gemini's insights on attracting wealth.
Okay, perfect.
It's interesting, right? Because on the surface, it's like, how are these two things, transferring crypto and attracting wealth, even related?
Yeah, they do seem pretty different.
But I think we're going to find some interesting connections there.
All right, well, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll dive into attracting wealth and see how it connects with all this crypto stuff.
That's so good.
It's interesting, looking at this response about attracting wealth, Gemini approaches it from both a practical standpoint and a mindset standpoint.
Right.
Are those two approaches really that different, or are they, do they kind of work together?
Yeah, that's a great question. I see them as almost like two sides of the same coin. If you have that positive mindset, it can motivate you to actually take the practical steps.
Right.
And then when you start to see those steps actually working, leading to results,
Hey.
that just further reinforces your belief in your ability to, attract wealth.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a feedback loop.
So it's a dance between like intention and then the action.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they each kind of inform the other. So Gemini emphasizes, increasing income, managing finances wisely, and building a solid foundation as like practical steps. Can you break those down a little bit more? Like how would our listener actually do those things?
Sure, yeah. So when it comes to increasing income, that could involve things like negotiating a raise at your current job.
Okay.
Maybe you can leverage some of those, crypto skills that you're developing.
Right.
Or maybe even exploring a side hustle, something that really aligns with your interests.
So thinking outside that traditional 9-to-5 box.
Yeah, for sure. Explore those different income streams, see what's out there.
Okay, that makes sense. And then what about managing finances wisely? Where does one even begin with that?
Well, I think the first step is to really understand where your money is going.
Okay.
Create a budget. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but just having that awareness of, okay, here's how much is coming in, here's how much is going out. It allows you to make smarter decisions about, your spending and your saving.
It's like shining a light on those, your financial habits.
Exactly.
And you can see where you can optimize, where you can...
Right. Where are those leaks? Where is your money, kind of slipping through the cracks?
Okay, so increase income, manage expenses, and I know Gemini also talks about the importance of reducing debt.
Yes, absolutely. High interest debt especially, that's like it's like a leak in your financial ship, and you got to plug that leak first.
Dragging you down.
Yeah, exactly. So by prioritizing that debt repayment, you're freeing up more resources to actually invest and grow your wealth.
So all of this kind of lays that groundwork for a solid financial foundation.
For sure, for sure. It's like building a house, you got to start with a strong foundation.
Exactly. And that foundation is important whether you're in a crypto or traditional investment.
Absolutely. It's the fundamental building blocks of financial well-being.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting for me because we've talked about the practical side of things, but Gemini also emphasizes the importance of mindset.
Right.
So what does Gemini have to say about that,
Yes.
about cultivating a wealth mindset?
Yeah, it's about shifting your beliefs and attitudes towards money. It's
Right.
about believing in your ability to actually create wealth and overcome any limiting beliefs that might be holding you back.
So it's not just about like external actions, but it's about those internal shifts.
Exactly. It's about that inner game.
Now, Gemini mentions using things like visualization, affirmations, and gratitude to achieve this shift. I have to admit, those all sound a little, I don't know, kind of new agey to me.
Yeah, I get it.
So, like, do those things actually have a place in a practical financial strategy?
Well, there's actually a lot of psychology behind these practices. Visualization, it helps you create a clear mental picture of your financial goals, so it makes them feel more attainable.
Okay.
And then affirmations, repeating positive statements about wealth and abundance that can actually reprogram your subconscious mind to attract opportunities.
So it's like retraining your brain to think about money in a more positive way.
Yeah, exactly. You're kind of changing those
Hey.
thought patterns. And then gratitude. That's all about appreciating what you already have, which can shift your perspective from, that scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset.
Yeah.
So when you combine these mindset shifts with those practical financial strategies,
Mhm.
that's when you really create that synergy that can accelerate your journey towards financial well-being.
Yeah, you're basically fueling those practical actions with the energy of a positive mindset.
Exactly.
And speaking of fuel, let's bring this back to our first source. That conversation about cryptocurrency.
Right.
Because we know that cryptocurrency can be incredibly volatile.
For sure.
So does managing that volatility, does that require a unique kind of mindset?
That's a great question. Crypto is known for its wild price swings.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster.
It is. So how do you reconcile that with the principles of attracting wealth, which often emphasizes, stability and security?
It seems like to really succeed in the crypto market, you kind of have to be comfortable with risk and uncertainty. But doesn't that clash with the idea of attracting wealth, which usually focuses on like stability and security?
I think this is where that adaptability and openness to new opportunities that we talked about really comes in. Because cryptocurrency is, well, it just challenges traditional finance, right? It's like
Yeah.
you have to be willing to embrace the unknown and to kind of look at that volatility as a possible way to grow, not just as a threat.
So instead of like being scared of the roller coaster, you learn to ride it, maybe even enjoy it a little bit.
Exactly. And a strong wealth mindset can really help with that. If you're constantly worried about losing money, you're probably going to make impulsive decisions, or you might even miss out on good opportunities.
It's like that old saying, fear and greed drive the market.
Exactly.
But if you can kind of approach it with a level head,
Yeah.
based on your knowledge and believing in your ability to handle the ups and downs,
Mm-hmm.
you're much more likely to make good choices.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because risk is a part of any investment, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's crypto or those more traditional assets.
Yeah.
It's all about managing it, not letting it control you.
So how do you find that balance, between taking advantage of crypto's potential, but also managing those risks?
Yeah.
Any tips for our listener?
Well, I think, first of all, knowledge is power,
Mhm.
especially with crypto. Do your research, understand the technology,
Okay.
and choose projects that make sense for your values and your goals.
Wow.
Don't just follow the crowd.
It's like with anything in life, right? The more informed you are, the better decisions you'll make.
Exactly. Do your due diligence.
Yeah.
And remember, diversification. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread your investments around a bit.
Like a safety net.
Exactly. If one investment doesn't work out, the others can help soften the blow. And probably the most important thing, only invest what you can afford to lose.
Right.
Crypto can be it can be amazing, but it's also volatile.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in the hype and make risky decisions.
Yeah. That balance between risk and reward is so important.
Is.
It seems like crypto isn't just about financial strategy. It's also about like a psychological strategy.
Absolutely. It's amazing how finance and psychology kind of come together in the crypto world.
So to wrap things up today, what are the main takeaways for our listener? What can they do to manage cryptocurrency and attract wealth?
Well, first of all, remember that managing crypto is a proactive thing. Understand how blockchain works, choose the right exchanges and wallets, and always, always keep security top of mind. Don't ever share that recovery phrase.
Right. That's crucial.
It is. And remember that attracting wealth, it's a whole package deal. It's about taking action, but it's also about that positive mindset, being open to new opportunities and managing risk in a smart way.
So it's not just one thing, it's everything working together.
Exactly. And one last thought. Think about how you personally feel about risk and reward. Does it make you nervous, or do you like the excitement? Figure out your strengths and weaknesses in that area.
That's a great point. Knowing yourself is a big part of success in any field.
It is. Keep learning, keep growing, and stay open to those new possibilities.
That's great advice. Thank you so much for joining us on The Deep Dive, and we'll see you next time for another exciting exploration.